Hi, this is Tassie Pippert. Thank you to Atlantic Union Bank for supporting Tassie's Table. Atlantic Union Bank offers a range of financial solutions for consumers and businesses, including checking, savings, and lending. More about what they have to offer is available at atlanticunionbank.com or at a local branch. I love shrimp any way I can get them, and shrimp scampi has to be one of my favorite dishes. So today on Tassie's Table, it's a lovely shrimp scampi. I have my pan getting nice and warm. Don't want it too hot because when the butter hits it, I don't want it to burn, but it's nice and warm. So I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of butter to the pan. And you can see it starts to melt pretty quickly when it's nice and hot. Now the key is to melt the butter, but don't let it get brown, don't let it burn. And while that's melting, let's add about 2 cloves of garlic. So it takes 2 cloves of garlic for a 1/2 pound of shrimp. All right, I'm starting to get some sizzle in that pan, so I know there's a little action happening. Now I'm not letting my butter completely render out. I'm not letting my garlic start to brown before I put in my shrimp. It's really important that you get those started early. Now the shrimp are frozen, but I've thawed them and I wanted to make sure there was no excess water, so I put a little paper towel down in the bottom. So 1/2 pound of shrimp, and this is enough for 2 servings. Now we just want to stir these shrimp around until they're just pink. We don't want a lot of cook on them because they're going to continue to cook in the sauce. So as soon as you see a little pink starting on the shrimp, give them a flip. We're trying to just get rid of the gray. There we go, they're all flipped over, and I don't see any visible gray on the tops of these shrimp. So at this point, I want to add between 1/4 and 1/3 cup of white wine. A nice chardonnay works really well. And remember, don't use a wine that you wouldn't drink. So never use a cooking wine in cooking. It's so loaded with salt. This is just coming to a simmer. See that bubbling around the edges? Now at this point, let's add about 3/4 of a cup of cream. Now I'm using 1/2 and 1/2 here. You can use heavy whipping cream, but that certainly adds to a lot of fat in this dish. Now what I want here is for the liquid to come to just a simmer. So as soon as I start seeing bubbles right around the edges, just like this, you see that? I want to make sure I stir through. There are always spots in your cooktop and on your pans that get hotter than others. So we want to always make sure that we're moving that liquid around a little bit and all of the ingredients in there. Now let's add a little bit of thickening and flavor with some Parmesan cheese. Now I have a little bit over a 1/2 cup here, and I want to put about a 1/2 cup right in here to make this lovely sauce. And I'm going to save just a little to go on top. So let's just stir through. And then I'm going to put in some parsley, about, 1.5 tablespoons. And I'm going to save just a little bit for the top of my pasta. Now I want to hit it with really super high heat for just a couple of seconds, and then we're going to be ready to plate. Now you can see that that sauce begins to thicken as that heat intensifies. Let's turn it off. And you can also see how it coats the back of my spatula or my tongs. All right, now I want to take some of that sauce and I'm just going to drizzle it all over my pasta. Now if you like a thicker sauce, you can actually add more cheese to this. I like the flavor of a thinner sauce, but cooking is all about cooking for you, about cooking for your family and your friends. So whatever flavors you like, whatever textures you like, that's what you want to finish with. So let's scoop some of those shrimp all around. Now again, this makes a dinner for 2, and it's just so pretty. All right, now we want to finish off with a little bit of that cheese and parsley right over the top. There we go. That little bit of green, that little pop of cheese, so delicious. So if you've enjoyed today's dish, I hope you'll join me again on Tassie's Table.